Hello everyone, this is Sheshe, and today I'm coming on to do an update to my original video on the 3D rose shaping mold. It looks like this in the packaging. So here is the mold, and what I wanted to share is that you can do multiple layers of the rose in the molds, and so you don't have to run the mold through your machine multiple times to make one flower, even though there's like two different shapes for the big rose and so on. So I've tried several times trying to figure out what is the best way to do this video, and I've had some failures. So my last attempt, after I've recorded everything, was, and I'm going to link my original video for the 3D shaping floral mold, because what I did in that video, I showed how you spritz every layer and run it through your die cutting machine. But the difference between that mold, and again I'll link that video, is it had a different shape where you can layer your flower in different ways, so that once it goes through the embossing, it's not really stuck together and you can pry it apart easier. So when I tried that method with the rose mold, it did not work that great because the flowers were stuck really good when I spritzed them every other layer. So I don't recommend that method with this mold. What I did was I put them in dry after I figured out that it wouldn't work that way, and it did work great for me. However, everyone's machine is not the same, so you're going to need to figure out the perfect sandwich for your machine. So I'll give you two options, and I'm saying this up front because not everyone watches the whole video. You know, it's just, that's just how it is in YouTube land. So what you may want to do is try 2 layers first to see if it works with your machine. I use the Teresa Collins Cut and Boss. You can try 3 layers, and I only say this because, you know, the thickness, it may not go through the first time, and you don't want to force it and break your machine. You can also try this method. You can try 2 layers and only spritz the top layer with some water, a light mist, not drench, light mist. And you can also try 3 layers and only spritz the top layer with a light mist of water, okay? And then place the top plate on the mold and run that through your machine. But I would test it out first with only 1 layer on top of the first layer. Okay, so you only have 2 layers of flowers. If it works, great. Then try the 3rd layer. And then if it works, then you know your machine is okay and it will take the 3rd layer. But you don't want to force the mold through your machine and break the tension in your machine. So I only want to say that first because everyone's machine is different. You know, when I do my videos, I don't want to assume that everyone has a Teresa Collins Cut and Boss, or everyone has a Cuttlebug, or everyone has a Sizzix Big Shot. So I'm going to do this video, but the method I chose to use was dry. Everything was dry. I did 3 layers in the video, and all my layers of flour was dry, and I did 3. And I used the Teresa Collins Cut and Boss machine, which is an electronic machine, okay? So if you don't have that machine, please try only 2 layers first, okay? And if your flowers are too wet, when you spritz them with water, because not everyone has the same spritz bottle, then try the dry method and only do 2 layers, okay? So I just want to share that with you. Okay, for the rose mold, you'll need the Heartfelt Creations Classic Rose die. The stamp is optional, but they do pair together, okay, with this mold, okay. So I'm just going to start with the dry method, and you can use the wet method after as the last layer if you choose to. But in the video, we're going to do the dry method. Okay, I'm going to show the rose mold in multiple layers. My advice would be to do the rose mold dry instead of wetting the petals, because the petals are very delicate right here, and if you wet them too wet, you can damage the petals. When you take them out of the mold, they can break, and I'll show you what has happened when I tried. So I'm just going to put them in the mold and show you how it looks when it comes out. So I'm just going to place these in the mold just like so, and I did flip one down, so I'm just going to run this through the machine so you can see just how it turns out. But I'm going to do them 3 layers at a time. But you're more than welcome to try the wet method if you feel comfortable with that. I tried it and it just did not work out for me personally. So it's going to do that right now. And I did flip, let's see, one down, and I'm going to do some flipped up just like that. So you do get used to how these should go in the molds, and there's 2 spots here for my other flowers, so I'm just going to do that here. Let me see, these go, yeah, this way. So just place them all in the molds how it should go, and we'll flip all these down like that and see how it turns out. And then this one goes in this mold right here. And I'm just going to set them in and just flip them some up and some down, because when you're making the flowers, you want some turned up and some turned down, and maybe the flowers will turn out a different way. And so then I'm going to run this through my Teresa Collins cut and emboss machine, and this will go right in here. And I did do the leaves already. You can do 3 leaves at a time as well. And then I'm going to flip this over this way. This one does not have a corner, so you just take this corner right here. This one doesn't have a corner, and that's how you place it in the corners of the mold. And I'm going to turn my machine on and press this down. And it's going to work without the water. Just in my opinion, you can do it without the water. So I have 1 plate on, and then 1 plate on top. And then you'll see how it works out without the water. Okay. Okay, take these out the mold. And this is how it turns out. Just have to be really careful with the paper when you pry them apart. Okay, some of these came out like this. So it's up to you if you want to try multi-layer or if you want to scan it in several times. Not too bad. I mean, there's a little tear in here. But I did try the water technique and it just did not do well for me. I did let them dry, but then when I tried to pry them apart, they ripped. So, I mean, some people say it worked for them, and I did not drench them with water and I guess it depends on what paper you use too. So, anyway, the dry method worked for me. So, as you can see, it's just a little bit of tearing right here on this one, but not all of them did that. So I'm just giving you my honest opinion, so you know I don't work for Heartfelt Creations. So anyway, I'm going to make a flower, and you know, you've probably seen this in my other video. So we're just going to, let's see, I'm going to use this one because it's not so cupped up. Let's see, maybe see this one may be working for me, because I like the way it works. So I have some glue here, and this is the one where you're going to have to do a little bit of work. So in case you're watching this for the first time, I'm going to do a full tutorial. If you've seen this already, then you know you can move on to another video. I understand. So just going to roll this one on and do a tight little bud, just like I did in the other video. So I'm going to give this a little bit of glue. And we're going to roll this onto itself and hold it just like that. Okay, then we're going to take this one and wrap it around. Okay, so we're just going to hold that one, and then we're going to take a little bit of glue and wrap it around this one. I like to use glue because it gives it a more lifelike feeling rather than hot glue, because hot glue sometimes it can give it a bulky looking feeling. But you use whatever glue you prefer. And then this one, you're going to peel it back. Okay, and that's why I do color on both sides, because you never know what color is going to show. So I'm just going to peel that one back, and then you're going to take this one and cup it around this one right here. So we're making a tight bud here. And then we're going to peel back this bud right here, or this petal, so that the bud has some type of lifelike feeling for the rose. And just hold everything together so that it'll stick. So it's going to start looking, this is the hardest part of the rose. And I do have some red on my fingers from the inking. It's probably going to rub off because I'm using glue. And then we're going to take this part of the petal and wrap it around that one. So I'm just going to take some glue, wrap that around that part and glue that on. And then we're going to take this one and wrap it around this part. So it's going to put a little glue there. And then we're going to wrap all this around, and then we're going to form the bud. Just need everything to stick. And just hold it and wait for the glue to dry. But you want to peel back the little petals to give it some character. See there? Everything's peeling back. Okay, now we're just going to let that set and work on the other parts of the flower. Let's see, this one can probably go at the bottom. And this we're just going to offset the layers. And just press them together. The rest is very easy. This is what I have so far. This one is like cupped up, so it's going to put this one on next since it's cupped down. And this one's going to go on top of this one. And we're going to offset that one because I believe this is going to go around the bud. And then we're going to offset this one a little bit more. So far I have 1, 2, 3, 4 layers. And this is my 5th layer. And so this one I want to put between these two petals. So I'm going to take some glue and just go and make sure the glue is like all at the bottoms of that. So I'm going to offset this right in between that and then just fold it up, and hopefully this will stay. Around the flower, you just gotta hold it. At the bottom. And let that glue dry like that. And then the rest of the rows will fall into place. Just like that. You have to wait for everything to dry, and then you can start to wait for everything to look like the rose. So I'm going to let that dry, and then I'll come back and let you see how it looks once it's dry. Okay, here is my finished rose. This is how it turned out. And then I did another one off camera. It looks like this. And then if you just want to do some finishing touches, like adding some sparkle with the Wink Stella pen, you can do that. Let's see if I can get some stuff out. Just add some sparkle. That's what I normally do. It's not much. Probably can't even see it on the camera. But yeah, just probably can't see much. It's not a lot that I added. And then I just take my glue and then just add just a little bit of glue. And then pop it on the leaf. Like for the big one, you can't really see a lot of leaves. Like if you pop it in the middle, you can't see. So what I do is I just add it to like the side. Pop that down so you can get a little bit of the leaf like that. And you just pop it on like one of the leaves on the back. So I'll just put that right there. Let's see if I can put some more glue on here. So that's right on the leaf. And you get more of the leaf when you add it to the leaf like that. See more of the leaf. And then for the smaller one, let's see, I'll add some sparkle to that one too. how it looks. Then you can pop this one in the center of the leaf. And I just like the way that little swirl looks. And then I had this little shoe. I'm going to make some more and then put it on the shoe and fill the shoe up. This is kind of too big for the shoe. Like if I added it like that, I don't know, that's too big. But I'll make some more of the smaller roses and add it to the shoe and decorate the shoe. So I hope this video was helpful for you. I will show you some of my failed flowers, how it turned out when I wet them. So if you do wet them, just do it really lightly. But mine did not turn out that well. I did try to dry them with a heat tool, and this is what happened. They got stuck together, and when I tried to pull them apart, when I heat them with the heat tool, they just started to break. And I know not everyone has good quality cardstock. I tried to use Recollections, and then I used Coordinations cardstock. And like I said, I'm trying to pry them apart after they dried, and they just got stuck together. And as I'm trying to pry them apart, it just started to rip. Even when I tried to even let them air dry, I've tried to do this tutorial a couple times, and it just did not work out. See, they're just stuck. And I did not miss them that much. It was just, I don't know, it's just, sometimes it matters like with the pressure of your machine, and everybody's different, so it doesn't always work out for everyone. So, you know, see, I'm trying so hard to pry these apart, but they broke. So it doesn't work for everyone's machine, and so that's why I was just, you know, suggesting maybe do it dry, maybe 2 layers if it's too thick to go through your machine. So you guys have to be careful and judge. You don't want to break your machine if it's too thick. So yeah, this mold happens to be one of those molds that you just can't do it too thick. So see, one of them didn't completely break when it was wet, but the other ones did as I was trying to pry it apart because it was wet. And it's like, if you go through all that coloring, and it's just a waste of paper. And so yeah, I would suggest doing it dry, just to save you the heartache and frustration. Okay, here's my completed shoe with the Heartfelt Creations rose die and stamp. I think it turned out really pretty. And here's the other one that I made in the video. In case I have any questions about the mister bottle that I use to spritz my flowers, it comes from Target. It's the Up and Up brand. It gives a really nice light mist on your flowers, and it's really inexpensive. So that concludes my tutorial. I will link a source where I get my molds from in the description box below if you're interested. The Heartfelt Creations rose mold is just a little different. It gives a really deep impression, so that's why it's just, this tutorial was different than the original tutorial that I did on the florals shaping mold. So I hope this has been helpful for you. If you reach the end of this video and you're in doubt of trying the multiple layers, then don't try this at home. Just use the original method as it was intended. This video is just to give you an idea of how you can extend the wear of your molds and save yourself some time. but you know, when in doubt, then don't try it. Just use it as it's originally intended. I just thought I would come on and do this video to save you guys some time if you are frustrated and running the molds through your machine multiple times. Okay, so take care everyone and have a fabulous day.